plaintiff, Jesse Siebers, says the defendant is his mother, and he claims she's a narcissistic sociopath who physically abused him. Jesse's suing his mother because after going into business together, she stole money from their account. Defendant Teresa Siebers says Jesse has been addicted to drugs since the age of 13, and she's been to court with him numerous times as a result of his own behavior. Teresa claims Jesse has even abused drugs in front of his daughter, and that's why he was investigated by CPS.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you, sir.
All right, so I guess the best way to go about it is to give a little bit of a pass between my mother and I. And I mean, back to childhood, there's a long history of both mental, physical, and verbal abuse.
Starting what age?
Oh, goodness. Before I can honestly remember what a birthday was, to be honest. But I mean, I can remember vividly so many times where, you know, I've been beaten out of everything, out of the utensil drawer from our kitchen, belts, you know, pieces of trees. I remember so many times being beaten so hard I'd be gagging and choking on, you know, my tears and saliva.
Who all lived in the household?
Well, my parents divorced when I was 3, and we've gone through a series of stepdads, but, you know, basically.
So the stepdads lived there?
Yes.
And they didn't stop the abuse?
I mean, it's always been seen as this is the way we were raised. I mean, and
no one went to Child Protective Services for you either?
Well, I remember bringing it up in 4th grade to my teacher,
right?
Because you know she told me very explicit things if I didn't do my homework, and I remember breaking down to my teacher in tears because I lost my homework.
Did you tell the teachers you were going to get whoopings and that you get whoopings regularly?
Yes.
And what did the teacher do?
I remember the school sent out, Child Protective Services. But my mother is a master of manipulation and deception. You know, they came in, they talked to her.
There you go. They did come. All right.
Yeah, but they never talked to me.
Really? How old were you?
I was in 4th grade, so 10.
Okay, yeah.
9, 10 years old.
Yeah, they should have to you.
And, that's... It's carried through to my, adult life too, with, the mental and verbal abuse, not physical anymore. But, I still see the same things, go on with, I have a daughter, she's 8 years old. And she spends a lot of time with my mother. I've seen these accounts, of her, if she doesn't listen while she's like brushing her hair, my mom has ripped her hair, like pulled it really hard to the point where my daughter's in tears because of it. My daughter would, bring up, like, hey, that's hurting or whatever. And my mom, always had this line, I'll give you something to cry about as she, yanks her hair. It's definitely
Let me hear from you, ma'am. Give me some background. He says he pretty much was pretty badly abused.
Your Honor, my son has had a drug addiction problem since he was 12, 13 years old.
Yeah, but he said the abuse, he remembers it all of his life.
My children were raised as getting spankings when they were in trouble. They were raised if they got in trouble at school, they got in trouble at home. We have been to court numerous times because of Jesse's behavior in school. He's been suspended. He was charged with sexual assault in high school, and he's had a probation attorney as a youth. I have been in courts with him so many times. He's been even locked up in juvenile hall. So any discipline,
Did you ever send him to counseling?
I had taken him to 2 or 3 different counselors.
And what happened?
He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, refused to take the medicine. He was also diagnosed with ADHD, refused to take the medicine. At what age did he refuse? He took the ADHD medicine from kindergarten up until, I want to say, around 4th or 5th grade, when he had it in his room, took it to school, tried to sell it to his friends, and then, of course, I'm at court with a 12-year-old who had a drug charge.
When was he prescribed the bipolar medicine and failed to take it?
Your Honor, I was never prescribed any bipolar medication. I have a major depression disorder.
Is that true?
He was prescribed bipolar medication.
When?
I want to say he was around 12 or 13.
At age 12, did you ever start any medications such as she's referring to?
I have been on ADHD medication since I was a kid.
That's what she said.
You know, a very young child, up until I was, I want to say 18, 19.
Then what?
That's when I started getting on antidepressants.
Yeah, you have depression?
Yes.
All right, and that would cause that type of behavior.
Yes, sir. I've had to deal with his behavior all of his life.
Yeah.
And it's not a regret. I love my son.
She will tell you that, but I can prove otherwise. You know, she will tell you that I've been, you know, she's proud of me for the man that I've become, you know, overcoming so many challenges in my life.
Right.
Because, you know, I have overcome a lot. So, you know, being raised by a narcissistic, manipulative mother, you know, I have a lot of social anxiety.
Sir, your issue is mental illness. And if you've overcome that, that's the biggest thing you could possibly overcome in your life.
Your Honor, that is true.
Let's stay there. Let's stay there, sir. Because from what I've just heard, she's done everything she could to help you overcome the biggest issue in your life.
Your Honor, she has, you know, pressured me and has put me in multiple situations just so she could screw me over.
Okay, let's move on. What are you suing her for today? How did she steal your money?
I am suing her for $1,897 that she has taken out of my restaurant's bank account without my permission.
Tell me what happened.
So I quit my job of 6 years to start my own business. It's a small restaurant, and my mother manipulated me into signing a contract, you know, between the two of us for a shared partnership. You know,
so what's the manipulation part?
Oh, I told her no. I told her no for 3 days straight.
What made you change your mind?
Insecurities. You know.
Okay, that's not manipulation. That's you having insecurities.
I would agree.
So what's the manipulation part? You've accused your mother of something.
She's had previous experience in restaurants, you know, that she has something to provide to me and that I need her help. That is what she portrays to me, that I need her.
That's the manipulation you're talking about?
Yes. Okay. I mean, my grandfather owns the building that I run a restaurant in. She you know, says that, you know, I'm not going to be able to run this restaurant and I'm going to have it fail and then he's going to be out of money because of it.
Okay. All right, based on what I've heard, I'm going to conclude that's not manipulation. I'm going to conclude you voluntarily went into an agreement with your mother. And what was that agreement?
The agreement was that we would go into a 50-50 partnership with the restaurant in terms of just that specific location, that we would both, you know, over the course of time provide $100,000 in capital investment to the restaurant.
What did it start out with?
What it started out with was probably about, you know, a total of 50,000, you know,
each
divided.
Or?
Yes.
Okay, 25,000 each or 50 each?
It's $25,000 each.
All right, that's pretty good. You all had 25,000 each.
Yes.
Where you get 25,000 at such a young age? You ain't just taking the dope, you're selling it. Go ahead.
Well, honestly, her drugs thing, I've not been an addict.
I'm asking so far. I'm asking about the $25,000.
The $25,000 has accumulated over the course of a year and a half while working for a manufacturing company. You know, I worked really hard to get to where
you saved. That's why I want you to say it. Man, you're a real success story.
Yeah.
You're sitting here acting like so much stuff was done to you. Whatever was done to you, you are a big success story. Quite frankly, you don't meet millennials, period, who save money like that. That's a great deal, sir.
I would also like to state,
deal.
I do not have a drug problem. I do not drink or consume alcohol. Good. I have a medical marijuana license for the state of Ohio, which has taken me off of opiates, you know, because I have an issue where I have massive joint and muscle pains from multiple accidents through my youth. But, you know, I've stopped taking opiates. I've never had an addiction to it.
Marijuana works as well as the opiates?
Yes and no.
Or even nearly as well?
The issues that I had with that mainly was, you know, interacting with my daughter and stuff. You know, I don't like being doped. you know, hanging out with my daughter. So, you know, switching to CBD and THC tinctures and stuff has really, you know, mild off, you know, the pains to, you know, make it more more bearable.
Not only do I advocate marijuana for medical use, but I advocate that over alcohol. Alcohol hurts your organs. You can become alcoholic and go into DTs, all kind of stuff. Weed just takes some of your memory cells away. So just know that you're going to lose your memory at some point. No, I don't know if that's a proven fact, but they suspect that. And from my memory, I can vouch for that. My memory as a kid, I started smoking marijuana at age 11. Thank God I stopped when I was an adult, but that I didn't stop in time. Because my memory, like my teachers told me, you're going to have memory problems. So be aware of that. But I'd rather you to have a bad memory than be dead from opioids. So go ahead.
I appreciate that, Your Honor.
So you tell me anything else you want me to know before we get to the allegation that you took the money.
Jesse has had a drug problem, self-medicating,
right,
since he was 11, 12 years old. Not just marijuana, he has done cocaine. His daughter has talked about the chalk powder, and I have a statement on page 41. There is a statement of Lillian's description of watching Daddy and his friends smoke from a bong. She knows how to pack a bong.
How old is she?
She is 8, and he has not been able to see her since February.
That is your fault. I would like to note that, and we will get to that very shortly.
All right.
Go ahead.
Why, ma'am?
Because Children's Services is involved.
Was called by who?
Let her finish, sir. Go ahead.
Children's Services has been involved.
Ma'am, I'm gonna have to take a little of your credibility away. What this daughter says is...
It's all false evidence. It's been coerced by her.
You need to be quiet. Only thing you did, sir, was use it in front of her.
I had never used the substance in front of her. That is what she says, but it has fed to her. My mother...
Who you yelling at? Your claim is dismissed. Get the hell out of here. Bye. You yelled. Case dismissed.
Sir, may I ask?
You don't need to feed him any more lies, Teresa. Any more lies.
Sir, please.
It's okay, I have a restraining order against her. Oh yeah, you called CPS, I know it. I got the paperwork to prove it. And on top of that... No, not to protect your child, to cover your from stealing thousands of dollars from my restaurant. To cover your for using my company's credit card for your personal expenses. You gave me $500 in the middle of December. Shut the up.
This is my
life. In the middle of December.
Ma'am, please walk out. I can't let him talk to you like that. Go on out there.
Can we get him help?
You've done everything you can. Pray that he takes his medication, and you've done right by your granddaughter, okay?
I'm glad you all got to see this.
I know what it is. I know. And you go to counseling for yourself, okay? You go to counseling for yourself, because there are some ways to cope with it of your loved ones having that, all right? Go and find that out.